Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. Sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Holy cow, it's Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to Luna Geckos. My voice cracked on that. Welcome back to Luna Geckos. G here. It's Luna Live. Y'all ready for this? How's our audio, handy dandy?
All good, I think. Let me check the live
Handy
version.
dandy's checking the live. You know, it's one of my biggest pet peeves on lives is you come in and I'm doing exactly what bugs me.
All good, all good.
Yeah, I'm doing exactly what I hate. I hate when you come in on a live and it's like, somebody in the comments, please tell us if you can hear us. Somebody in the comments, please tell me if you can see me. Well, I think you can see me, but Handy Dandy's got it covered. We're all good. You ready for Luna Live? It's been a busy, busy week, and I am so thankful that we're doing a Luna Live today instead of actually doing a premiere and releasing a video, because we just finished a week in the life of G, and part 7 actually uploaded yesterday. So for an entire week, I lugged a camera and equipment around and recorded a week in the life of G here at Luna Geckos. And God bless Emma Chamberlain and geez, even Brian Barczyk, all the guys that do these vlogs. A lot of work. So 7 different videos edited. We launched last Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 7 days, week in the life of G. Go check it out. Whole playlist, Life of G. Well, let's not talk about that anymore.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. We got guests today. We have George from Elite Geckos, all the way from the UK. And we have Kevin from Mutant Geckos, all the way from Florida. And we want to talk about super giants and a whole bunch more. Y'all ready? Give me some applause. Give me some horn. Give me some hype. Give me something. We got to bring them in. Come on, boys.
What up?
How's it going? Look at
How's
this.
everyone?
Look at this. We got Lou Cook in the house saying UK. I don't know. What happened to your football team?
Don't you start. Don't you start. I was devastated. A day before my birthday as well. What a present that would have been.
I'm Italian, so go Italy.
I mean, the Italian team, I don't know if everyone follows soccer here. They're such a mature, strong team. 33 games unbeaten. You know, we've got to walk around with our head held high.
Yeah. Wonder if we should we're playing with a couple tech issues, not issues, but just tweaks. When comments come in, I wonder if we should put them up top in the top corner so they're above George. Yeah, that way it doesn't block our names down there. I like it. Who all's in the house out there? I see Lou, Bob, some regulars that are normally on our Sunday premieres. So, Kevin, you just got back from vacation, huh?
Yeah, I didn't really go anywhere. I just hung out a lot.
I think George said Florida's a 365-day-a-year vacation.
Nah, not like that. No. When you're born here and you live in the same place your whole life, never a vacation, you know that.
Junior's in the house. What's happening, Junior? All the way from Colorado. A lot of folks rolling in. Hey, I really, you were on vacation. George has been, I got to go this way. George, it's like the Brady Bunch. Or what's that show, Hollywood Squares? It's like Hollywood Squares. You're, what was the comedian's name that was funny on Hollywood Squares?
I don't.
Joan Rivers. George, you're Joan Rivers.
I know we get called James Corden.
Hey, you kind of look like him. You do. You kind of look. Everybody in the comments, if you think George looks like James, then give us a thumbs up. It's 11 a.m. here, so Adam, if you're on, no red Solo Cup today. It's got Red Bull in it.
Oh.
Yeah, go get your Red Bull. It's noon. It's noon in Florida, so Kevin, you can actually have a red Solo Cup. Jay in the house. It's Jay. You're going to get in trouble. It's Meadows. It's not your Jay, George. Jay from Eco Geckos is at a nude beach today, so I hope he doesn't join in, because we don't want to see that. And Big J from up in Canada just joined in, and it's his daughter's second birthday today. So he said he probably wasn't going to make it. So he's probably sitting at the birthday party with his phone under the table, and soon as he'll be leaving, as soon as his wife catches him, and he gets a little slap. So let's, before we dive into this, Kevin, you've been doing this for a long time, huh?
Super Giants?
No, just reptiles in general. Let's go.
Reptiles, I've been doing a real long time. As far as breeding goes, just the last 5 years, really. I've been around the reptile world since I'm about 16 years old, which is a while now, actually, 31 years. Been going to all the reptile shows but I was a keeper back in the 90s. I really wasn't a breeder. I kept everything. Even kept leopard geckos. They were just leopard geckos, no morphs. I bred leopard geckos back in the 90s. Really wasn't much. I just kept group 1 to 5 in a 50-gallon. Threw the eggs out on my porch because we're on vacation all the time and it's nice and sunny. Yeah. Incubated them on my porch, and that's it. But as far as keeping, I've had everything.
That's the story. I've heard you tell that story before. Maybe on Strength and Leo's with Evan.
Yeah.
I remember a story about you putting eggs on the porch, and next thing you know,
just eggs on the porch. I mean, eggs fluctuate in the wild, so fluctuation on the porch, no big deal.
Yeah, that wouldn't work in the UK.
No chance. 34 degrees today. Tomorrow will be 26.
I don't have a problem with humidity here, but they'd probably drown because it rains. I think it rains more in Lake Charles than it does in London. So it's it's raining every day. It's been crazy. Yeah, you went to. I think I remember you telling a story. You went to a show or something. Or didn't your daughter? How'd you start doing leopard geckos? Like, what you're doing
Um,
now? Didn't your daughter buy a couple or something?
well, in 2016, she wanted to go to a reptile show, and I actually got out of the scene probably for 10 years. Um, I had a lot of, back in the day, there used to be a lot of death in the industry. Knowledge was hard to get, and I kind of just got tired of it. And, just keeping in general, I don't know, just something rubbed me the wrong way after keeping for so long. And
Were people just, well, obviously internet and that kind of stuff wasn't prolific, but keepers in general, were they just guarded their information, didn't want to share? Or
well, that and a lot of imported stuff. A lot of imported stuff was coming in the early '90s. A lot of the leaf-tailed geckos, a lot of the Asian snakes, a lot of stuff like that, and that just wasn't easy to keep alive at that time. And I just kind of got tired of it and going to the shows and all the iguanas, and a lot of things that shouldn't be sold at shows. I just didn't like it, and
yeah,
it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. It's hard for me to understand where all these green iguanas and all these sulcatas are going. It,
yeah.
it it's just crazy to me. So I kind of got out for that reason.
Not a whole lot of
And
people.
plus, I lost one of my pets, rhinoceros iguana, and it just killed me, and I had him for 12 years, and it was just kind of sad.
Yeah.
But I still have my sulcata from back when I was 21 years ago. I bought at a reptile show, Daytona,
How big is it now?
108 pounds.
How when did you buy it?
21 years ago.
What don't they live like 100 years or 80 years or
Hopefully.
yeah.
Hopefully past me. He's real cool. But anyways, I got sidetracked. 2016, my daughter wanted to go to a reptile show, so I took her to Daytona, and we walked around. And I wasn't supposed to buy anything, but I came home with 3 leopard geckos, and it just spiraled from there. And she doesn't take care of the leopard geckos anymore. Has nothing to really do with leopard geckos, and it's all me.
How long?
I came in 3. I still have the 3. They're just pets. I got them from the Gourmet Rodent.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And whatever, it's 5, 6 years, 5 years now, 5 years. And she does. My daughter breeds the cresteds and the gargoyles. At least she did last year. I don't think she's going to do it this year. It was a lot of work for her.
It is a lot of work. Well, they all are. And then as the quantities go up, you just, the work increases exponentially. So I'm
Yeah,
with
so it just, how it goes. It just spiraled from there. I started doing research. I caught on to Matt Baronik's YouTube, and then John's
Yep.
Morph ethics page and all that stuff. And I started reading that, and then spiraled and bought the Elite Gecko book and learned about wild types. And wild types are kind of my thing because it's just cool seeing stuff in nature, and I like browns and whites and dark colors. So usually that, they have zebras with, leopard geckos with spots,
Right.
Right. And I just like, I don't know, man. It's just kind of cool, the natural stuff.
What wild type species do you have? You have Agromania?
Yeah, I have it. I have everything. I actually have them. I have them all.
So you have all species, subspecies.
I have all species, all subspecies. Yeah, I have everything except for I don't have Satiparensis, but maybe
Yeah.
in a couple years. Hold on, I moved this guy. Maybe in a couple of years I'll have Sataparensis, but as of now, unfortunately, no. This is Angramanu right here. I brought him. Wait, hold on. Wait, this isn't a phone. I'm not used to. Hold on, I got to figure out where this camera is.
There you go. You got it.
Wait. This is hard.
Flip to the big screen for him.
Yeah.
Hold on, we'll make it easier for you. Kevin Big. It's up. It's up. Right there. There you go. There you go. Look at the size of that.
Right.
So I know today, one of our primary topics today is super giants. But those are the real super giants, right?
Yeah, these actually are big. These are bigger than super giants. I recommend anybody that wants a real big gecko, they go with Angramanu. I mean, it's hard to buy a baby. I feel like it's hard to buy a baby super giant and guarantee that it's going to get to super giant size. My personal opinion. You can take a guess. When I sell super giants, I usually only sell the ones that are really growing fast.
Yeah.
But I usually get stuck with a lot of smaller ones, and I let them go either as pets or giants. I let people know. I'm trying to change this year because I've kind of made the new decision that I'm going to sell everything as super giant lineage rather than as a guarantee of being a super giant. Like most likely they're going to get big. And I feel like in the UK and in Europe, they're probably going to have a better chance of being bigger because they're starting with bigger geckos. But when you're breeding a 100-gram female to, let's say, a 135-gram male, that's still kind of on the lower end of super giants as compared to in Europe, I think.
Yeah, I used to work with super giants. I love them. Absolutely love them. One of my biggest issue was exactly what you just said. It takes. Oh, Nicholas wanted to know what locality.
This is Masjid Solomon.
Okay, but that was part of the issue. Was my issues with them were kind of twofold. One, when it was 15, 20 grams. Well, they didn't stay 15 grams very long. They got big pretty fast, but you're selling somebody a 25, 30, 40 gram animal and you're like, hey, I promise it's going to be big. And that's a tough sell. Once it breaks, that 180 to 100 mark, then they start to get it because you're like, hey, that's only 4 months old. And they're like, oh, that's a big, when it's sitting right next to a same age gecko that's a normal size gecko, they're like, oh, I get it. So I had to wait a long time to actually be able to get the full value out of them. And then they grew so fast, they ate so much. I had them out of a baby bin into an adult bin in like 3-4 months, where they started burning my space up. And so I love them, absolutely love them. I just, from a production standpoint, it was it put a lot of strain on my on my space resources primarily here. So that's why I don't work with them anymore. How about you, George? How'd you before Super Giants? How'd you get? So you're a retired pole dancer, and
semi-retired,
semi-retired, a semi-retired pole dancer that decided to breed geckos. So how'd that all work?
So basically what happened is in 2015 I decided I wanted a chameleon. And I got another chameleon, really loved them, bred them and whatnot. Anyway, when I moved out from my parents, my girlfriend said to me, we got these chameleons here and I can't hold them. Why have we got animals that I can't touch, interact with and whatnot? Because I had Vilds. In my opinion, Vilds are very much so looky but don't touchy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And my ones, the female I had was, you can get her out, but she didn't want to be out. Whereas the male, it was just, go away. So what happened is my girlfriend done some research and she said to me, oh, I love leopard print and there's a leopard gecko. let's go and have a look at some. Done what everyone else does, went to the local pet shop, picked out a gecko and fell in love with it straight away. Went back to the pet shop, wanted another one, was told you can keep a male and female together, no problems. Not thinking, even though I'd done the chameleons, not thinking that a male and female are going to have eggs. So anyway, they ended up laying eggs, and we bought a little incubator and hatched out these 2 leopard geckos. And I still get the same feeling today. As soon as those 2 hatched, the bug hit.
Right.
Bought loads of geckos, and I'm here today.
Aww.
And then, how about the super giant bug? How
So
you saw one?
basically,
You saw one, and you're like, "Oh, I gotta have that." I mean, what happened?
Oh, when I first saw them, I thought it was a myth. I thought, that can't be true. Like that, they're so goddamn big. And when you look at when you put a little normal leopard gecko next to a super giant, it's like, no way, that has to be photoshopped.
Yeah,
So anyway, a friend of mine in the hobby, I think he's watching this, Viddy's Pets, and he had a load of high-end stuff, and I looked really up to Lee. And someone really close to him was selling a super giant Godzilla that came from Hans in Germany, and a super giant from Steve. And anyway, it came up to me, and I had to snatch his hand. When he bought the geckos here, I was like, wow, insane. And this was back in 2017. And ever since then, I've just had the itch, the bug, and everyone loves him over here. So yeah, he's here. He's just put a comment. So ever since then, I've been producing super giants. Like Kevin said earlier, I've made some changes this year. You know, when you pair 2 super giants together, you will get the 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 that are not going to reach size. Then you get a customer that's not satisfied. And there's nothing worse when you produce stuff like super giants, black knights. Like, for example, a black knight, it might be sent off jet black. You give it a few months, it might turn a normalish colour. It happens. They're an animal. You can't judge them. You can't stop them doing what they want to do. There's been a few instances. I've had a few super giants or giants, and someone's been like, it's sort of staying a normal size. But it does happen. But from the customer's point of view, it's like, well, that shouldn't happen. You should have. Does that make sense? Do you know?
Oh no, it does. I mean, I've shipped out black knights that had a bit of pattern on them. And 6 months later, they send me a picture, and it's jet black, and I'm like, God darn it, I should have held that one back. So the opposite happens too, but nobody ever complains. They don't complain, and I've never had anybody like message me and say, you know what, I should send you another $500. What's your PayPal? This animal is better than. That's never happened, right? Nobody says it's better. So. Yeah, what's that called? That's seller's remorse when can't keep them all though. So
exactly, and this
you can keep a lot though.
I'm more warning people this year. I'm just saying, look, like what Kevin said from super giant lineage. I'm just going to say to people it might not get as big as you think it is, and a lot of people. It's just my opinion with males. It's best to hold them back a few years just to get that real size. Like if you buy a super giant male and it's a year old and you've paired it, he's going to be stunned a little bit because of his breeding. He's losing weight while breeding. There's a few factors. So this year I've been more focused on saying to people, just so you know, this can happen, just to be warned.
Yeah, Prince Wesley said, just go ahead and send a non-black knight, and then if it gets black, he'll send me some extra money. Weasley. Oh, Weasley.
I'm down for that too.
Yeah. Well, one of the biggest, I kind of get it on the regular on pure black knights. I kind of get an idea, and what I'm seeing as a pretty good marker is if if they hatch with a jet black head, no pattern on that head. I've found that those animals end up getting pretty dark. Some of them, pattern completely gone, and pure black or darn close to pure black. If they have a little bit of goldy speckling or pattern on their head, I'm finding that those almost zero chance that those are going to turn solid black. But the trick are the crosses. You just have no idea on a cross. I mean, a cross might hatch black and then turn out looking like a regular Max Snow with yellow and all kinds of different pattern on it, or they might hatch with pattern and then turn completely black. So it's a little bit tricky on the black knights. And again, you can't, I guess you could keep them all. Kevin, you got all kinds of space, right? I've heard you say that if you don't sell a single gecko, you don't care. You've got room, you'll keep them.
I'll keep them all. I keep expanding. I have a lot of space, and now I'm kind of getting rid of a lot of projects that I held on to for a long time. Um, so I'm gonna have a real lot of space. I'm gonna keep probably almost everything I make this year. I think I'm gonna keep. I went small this year though. I went small because I went small. This big G. I went small to play the odds. I just was like, I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it. And I went small because I didn't want to like go big to try to hit what I wanted to hit and then have like a bunch of babies. I just didn't want to do that. So I just went small and I got lucky.
You were you were playing with a lot of recessives, right? Like blue amber eye. You're working on all that.
Yeah. So last 2020, I did the blue amber eye and I went to a fascio, so I had double heads. So I paired the double heads together. And then I also took the blue amber eye and I went to Murphy's patternless. So I paired the triple heads together, trying to hit the triple recessive and trying to hit the double. I didn't hit the triple. I didn't hit the double, but I didn't want to. I just wanted to hit a bay by itself. So I'll have the 66% chance of being rainwater, so hopefully it's not next year.
Yeah, because all the original blue amber eye stuff came with rainwater, right? So
I'm trying to deconstruct. I'm trying to deconstruct. That's my main project. I'm trying to deconstruct it out of there.
If you would have hit a double and a triple recessive, I was coming to get you, and we were going to Vegas, man.
Oh, you know what? I'm close though. I still have a chance, so we'll see. I didn't hit the double once yet this year, but I still I don't have any more chances of that because I was only able to get one female up to size to breed this year, and then of each one of those. So I wasn't able to try, but I still have more. I still feel like I'm going to hit that triple, no doubt. I still have a couple more eggs. In fact, I got a surprise the other day, and I was super happy because my Murphy's patternless rainwater het bay. I guess it stopped laying, so I figured she was done. The first time she laid in the water, the second time she laid a good set of eggs, the third time she laid out of the box on the heat and I didn't catch it. And she hasn't laid for about a month and a half. I thought she was done, and then I found two more eggs, but I walked in, they were on the heat also, but I happened to catch them right away. So
good set.
I was like, I think I have a chance to hit that triple. But I did hit a rainwater Murphy's the only two eggs that I incubated. I hit a rainwater Murphy's patternless potential het bay, and I hit a Murphy's patternless potential rainwater het bay also. And then I got the two eggs I put in for female. Those were both put in for male. So I've got two eggs. I put them in for female. Hopefully I hit the triple recessive. If not, hopefully I hit a bay Murphy's patternless, or even a bay, because then I'll have still a chance to hit the be het. So we'll see what happens.
So what are you seeing on blue amber eye? Is it obviously it's an eye pigment change, but is it also it's color enhancing too?
It's too. I'd say it's too early to tell if it's color enhancing. I don't know yet. It's hard to say because the one I hatched out, first I thought it was developing to be more white, but it looks like it's turning into a fasciatus. I think it's turning into a fascio look,
Yeah.
And then the second one is really strange. It's like still pink. It's about a month and a half old, and it's still like the bands. You know how the bands, they start off like yellow and pink in an albino.
Right.
That's kind of how this looks. This looks almost albino, but it's not. So it's hard to tell what they're developing into. I've seen somebody cross them. Somebody in Europe cross them into like a non-het purple headline, and they looked amazing as far as tangerines go. But I'm trying to keep more wild type. From what I see, I think they're gonna. If the hard part is with an eye gene is that eclipses and everything.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
didn't somebody
so-
pop an eclipse? I think I heard that recently. Somebody popped an eclipse out of the blue amber eye.
Well, no, we don't. You know,
Or
so
you?
somebody said they had popped an eclipse out of a blue amber eye. I haven't heard anything else about that, and I haven't heard if she popped anything, any other ones out. But it's hard to say if she did or not, because as I know, and it doesn't happen to me anymore, but in the beginning, and she's not I don't think she's like a beginner breeder or anything, but sometimes eggs could possibly get mixed up, or
Yes.
something could happen. I put my bay this year to an eclipse to see. I haven't got eggs yet. I wanted to see if my main male was. So we'll see if he pops out in the eclipse or not, and I'll know for sure. But I'll know my line isn't het for eclipse if he doesn't pop anything out, because I went to a fasciolatus after that. So, and I went to a Murphy's patentless. So I mean, well, the Murphy's is supposed to be pure, but you never know. But the fasciolatus is definitely 100% pure. So, you know, I'll know my line isn't. I don't know if she did or not, to be honest with you.
Okay,
I mean, things get mixed up, and she doesn't even know.
I didn't look too much into it. I heard it or saw it somewhere, and I was curious. But I'm not working with blue amber eyes, so I didn't.
Well, I'll tell you, I think my personal opinion is blue amber eye is going to be big eventually, not because I work with it, just because I think that it doesn't wash out color. It doesn't wash out color at all. I can't say it enhances color, but I do know it doesn't wash out color. So to me, it looks like the future's bright with it, just because you're going to put it into your tangerines, and you're not going to get any. I mean, I know people like the pied markings, but you also want geckos without the pied markings, and
Absolutely.
these are going to look good.
Well, the other thing too is we haven't seen it yet in Tremper or Bell, have we?
No.
Not visual.
No, I mean, impossible. Next year would be the first time you would possibly you wouldn't even be able to see it next year, because next year would be
you'd create hets.
Well, so next year would be the first year you could
simultaneous
test.
though, right? You could take one of those wild type 100% het blue amber eye. You could take that wild type to Bell, and then you can also test him back to a rainwater simultaneously. And if you end up popping rainwaters, you just created double het rainwater Bell. You just created a bunch of pet animals. But if you don't produce any rainwaters, you're a year ahead.
I like how you're thinking about that, because I don't hear anybody mention that, but I take my bay, that's 66% het rainwater. I put it to 2 rainwater females and one let's say tremper, just to test it for tremper. If I don't hit a rainwater, then I just put it into tremper the first year.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I do hit a rainwater, then I just sell all the pets.
Exactly. I mean, males are the only way to jumpstart. You save time by doing that with your male, but if you try to do it with females, it's going to take you forever.
Well, I hit 2. I actually only incubated all those eggs for male. Because
that's what you needed. You're trying to strip out rainwater. So, yep.
That's the best way to go, and
I agree.
That's what I did. So I hit two bays, 66% het rainwater. I got lucky. I did really good this year for you. It's so crazy how many geckos I have. It's like nothing. I can't even believe it. It's like wait, I'm done cleaning? It's so fast. It's done. Like I clean my gecko. I clean literally in like 10 minutes. The whole rack's clean because I've only hatched out 16 this year. And
Oh,
yeah, only 16.
it
And I
takes
have
me
about 40 eggs.
4 days. 4 days to get through. Now I can do it in 2, but if I got to hump it on 2, it's going to be like 2 10-hour days.
I assume you from as much hard as you're going right now that you're full time in this right now, right?
Yeah, you know what? I am at the moment. I like to say I'm retired, but Handy Dandy's not going to let me be retired. And I'm a 20 plus year casino guy. And we left Canada, came back to the United States. I was up in Canada, I had 4 casinos in my region. 3 of them were operating. 1 was being completely redeveloped, and it's going to be the largest resort destination casino in Canada. It's currently the #1 producing casino in Canada. It does over $1 billion a year in gaming revenue.
In North America.
It'd be like #3 in North America. There's a couple California casinos, Oklahoma casinos are bigger. San Manuel, as an example, is like $1.5 billion. But so we were completely redeveloping that resort. We were building and about to open. We were supposed to open a new one in Pickering, in just outside of Toronto. That was supposed to open right at the beginning of April. COVID jacked everything up. Construction stopped. All casinos, Ontario government, really Canadian government, shut casinos down across the entire country. And they bought out my contract, and we didn't have anywhere to go. And we hung out in Canada for the summer, just kind of a vacation. Plus, I was in the middle of the 2020 breeding season, so I just had to see that through.
Nice.
And we have a house down here in Lake Charles that got pretty severely damaged in 2 hurricanes, a flood, a freeze. I mean, you name it. It's the apocalypse down here for the last 6, 8, 9 months. So we came down here to, park ourselves back in the U.S. and oversee putting this house back together. And so I guess I'm technically between contracts, but as of right now, you're right. That was I went all the way around the track, but as of right now, full time. I was hoping to produce, 300-400 animals this year. That's across all species because I work with leopard geckos, fat tails, gargoyle crested, Sericinorum, and Urodactylodes. Banked on a lot of first year breeders this year. So my egg production per female is down. So I'm probably going to end up between 250 and 300. I was hoping to be closer to 400. So I'm down a little bit.
What I played in the World Series of Poker, man.
Yeah, one of the regional events or the actual at the Rio.
I played in one of the $10,000 events.
And
I won a satellite. I won a satellite into it. Flew me out there.
You went to Vegas?
I won a satellite into it. I flew out there to Vegas in about 2008.
Oh, I was in charge. I was over the Rio in 2007. So I ran the 2007 World Series of Poker. So I missed you by a year.
Yeah. So it was cool, man. I enjoyed it. I used to play a lot. I don't play anymore.
Wow. Yeah, that's a fun. That's 45 days. That event's 45 days. And we basically have to run a whole separate casino for 45 days. So it takes 6 months to plan and execute.
That's crazy.
You basically have 2 jobs for half the year. It's pretty. It's a fun event though. I met at that 2007 World Series. I met a whole bunch of guys. I met
Ben Affleck.
Affleck was there. Damon was there. Don Cheadle was there. So, I mean, obviously all the poker guys, but then a lot of Hollywood guys were playing in that 2007 event. So it was, I was walking down.
Oh, Jay's in the house.
I hope he doesn't send us a nude picture from the beach. So I was walking down the hallway, down to the convention space to the event. and there's just two guys sitting on the floor. You know, both have ball caps on. They're sitting on the floor eating a sandwich, and it was Damon, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I'm like, "You want me to get you a table or something?" He's like, "Nah, we're good." So that's pretty funny. How about George? Let's jump. You want to show some geckos? I know everybody wants to see some geckos. Put George on big. We're gonna put George up because he's been sitting there all quiet like a good boy.
I know. I've got to let everyone else have a turn, haven't I?
Yeah.
You close your eyes and it's like Brian Hall talking about geckos.
So I brought my Super Giant female with me. I had a bit of a family emergency today, and so my reptiles are actually in a facility at my parents' house, and I'm currently at my flat. And in my flat is predominantly crested geckos, so I can show some crested geckos later. But I did bring my Super Giant female. I have a question for Kevin, actually. Do you ever find any sort of fertility issues with them in whatever you've done with the Super Giant? Because of this female I'm going to show here is there seems to be a system where she'll have a good season, a bad season, a good season, and another bad season. This season has been a bad season. She's laid completely fertile eggs, but they're like slugs. So like you candle them, they have a big red bomb, they're like the bullseye, but the eggs are like, it's like there's not enough calcium, but she's getting everything like everybody else.
Oh wow.
I actually never. I actually my Super Giants are so fertile, it's insane. I can't even believe they keep popping out eggs. I'm like, I get 7-8 clutches.
I've only ever had, you know, because I started when I first started adding geckos. I started with a 1-2 group of Super Giants, and I had a raptor male. He was big. He was like 138, 140 grams, and I had a Tremper female, and I had a Tremper Sunglow female. The Sunglow never got an egg in 2 seasons, and that could just be the gecko. I mean, I have a wild type gecko. I have a pure Turkmenicus this year that has laid 5 or 6 clutches, so 10 or 12 water balloons, and I put her with 2 different males. So you can't say wild types have a fertility issue. It was just that particular gecko. Then the other female, the Tremper female, she was good, but she didn't like breeding. So she would give him a hard time. And it takes a lot of courage to get your hand in the tub to break up 220, 140 gram animals that aren't getting along. I got a spray bottle in one hand, and I'm squirting them, and I'm trying to get my hand between them with the other. And I'm like, man, please.
Got to put rum in there. Spray rum.
Oh, does it chills them out, or they just don't like it? Hey, Palmetto's in the house.
I'm just playing. Don't use rum.
Don't use rum.
Don't use rum.
I think the spray bottle distracted them from killing each other, but I think it made the female more angry. So then my hand became the target. So,
but yeah, my main male with the Super Giants, I managed to get him to 187, and unfortunately, he passed last season. No reason whatsoever, just passed away.
187.
Yeah, 187. Yeah.
Was it? Isn't that? What's the lineage on that? Isn't it? It's got like Thor or something?
Godzilla.
Godzilla. It's a Godzilla line.
That's insane.
He was big with the Super Giants. I mean, if you let them eat, they will eat. And I mean, like my female, I could let her. She could happily get to 110, but she will look so unhealthy. I normally keep her about 80, 90. That's good for me. A lot of my geckos, when I show people there, I keep them on the slimmer side. Just how I am. I like them looking more naturalistic. But my main male, he passed away last season. I almost finished because of that. I felt like, what do I do from here?
Yeah. Well, George, we just had a question about what morphs you work with. Now, Super Giants are just one of them. You've got some other stuff over there, don't you? Like
oh yeah, I have a whole load of stuff. I have red diamonds. I've got bloods. I've just imported an Inferno. I've got my first rainwater. Trying to suss a male for that over here is like impossible. I think I'm going to have to go to more like Germany or Kevin.
Kevin's got some rainwaters. Where I laid an egg on Rainwaters this year. I only had a 1-2 group, and one of my females actually passed. She both females egg bound. One ended up passing the eggs, and she's fine, but her season's done. And
it's
the
crazy.
the other one passed. So the both first year breeders. So could be that. But the common denominator is the male, so it makes me a little bit worried going into next year. But we'll see.
All right, you got I don't want to steal the floor, but I kind of like I got a show and tell over here, man.
All right, let's flip.
I got a show and tell.
We'll
over
flip.
here.
We'll come back to your girl, and then George. What have either of you guys put or all your Super Giants carrying Tremper, or have you put them? Have you done like anything else?
I had a bit. I wouldn't say an argument. I had a bit of a discussion with Palmetto State Geckos because of he asked me about the Bell Super Giant, and I was like, "Oh, I don't really know about that." Like, in my opinion, at some point, not that it's a problem. I'm not saying it's a problem at all, but at some point, a Tremper had been paired to a Bell to make the Bell Giants. In my opinion, it came from Moose, who's a Tremper and whatnot. And
I mean, it would take a long time. You'd have to strip out the Tremper.
I mean, but you could do things like that. It absolutely no problem. I think how sometimes when you read things over text, you can sometimes read it the wrong way. And I didn't mean like that it's fake. I'm not saying that because I know they are a thing. But me personally, I've never worked with it. It's always been the Trempers for me. But I sent him a couple of photos of my bell hatches. I went, see, I do like bells.
Well, let's talk about that question real fast because Ron changed in his latest book. He changed his opinion, and he now believes that it's recessive.
I think it's line bred, 100%.
So you think it's polymorphic?
Yeah, I think it's 100% line bred. I mean,
it's like you breed Shaquille O'Neal, you're going to get big babies, right?
100%. 100. You see, you can have a big mum and dad, and you still can get a small person, but predominantly they're going to be big. And I've paired a super giant to a normal, and I've still had big geckos, but I can't label them a super giant because it's down to the lineage. But if you put a big gecko to a big gecko, you're going to get a big gecko. We have a breeder over here in the UK called Dave Rich, he's the one who started the Copper Morph. So that you guys, I always mention Dave because Dave's always been a great help to me. And I wouldn't say he's made his own giant, but he's got a sort of a big gecko line going on called Colossal. And Colossal, he's got information on his website. I'm not 100% sure with the facts, but I'm pretty sure Colossal's about 140 grams and almost 12 inches long. And I just think it's just big gecko to big gecko. I've seen normal geckos with no giant affiliated with them at all reach 120, 130 grams, especially your Blizzards and your Diablo Blancos.
Yeah, I have plenty. I just naturally gravitate towards big animals, particularly males. So I have some pretty big males that technically don't have any super giant lineage, but I don't work with them enough. I've only ever had a 1-2 group, and I only one of those females ever produced. So I don't know, Kevin. What do you think? You think it's recessive? You think it's polymorphic?
So I think it's polygenic for sure. It's hard for me to say only because I feel like for anything for you to get a real answer, that you need to work with probably 6-7 groups, and I've only ever worked with like 3 groups, and I feel it's polygenic. I've seen Ron selling adults that are under a couple years old, under the size of what he says should be super giants. I've seen people sell super giants and say, I don't sell slow growers or runts here, which to me means they're getting slow growers and runts. If you breed two albinos together, you're never not getting an albino. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
You're always getting an albino. So if you're breeding 2 super giants together and you're getting slow growers or runts, then that tells me a lot. And the more people I ask, it seems like the more people are telling me they're getting smaller geckos as well as, super giants or giants as well. I've bought super giants off of a few different people, and I've had them not get to size. I've also bred them, and I've gotten really big geckos from them, and also small geckos. I've also bred one yearlings, and it has stunted their growth, especially not really the male so much, but as the female. So that I feel is real. And I also do feel that it takes 2 years for them to get up to full size. A lot of people, if you look up super giants, you get a lot of false information. And, you get a lot of information saying that male should be 100 grams in 1 year and female should be 90 grams in 1 year. A lot of times that does happen. It does happen, but it also doesn't happen. And some take 2 years to mature, and they definitely get big. This guy's 4 years old.
Put him on. Let's go, Big Kevin. I like. The other thing too is I can make a fat gecko. I could just power feed it and get it to I might not be able to get it to 100 grams, but I can make it fat.
Well, that's another thing, though.
Length.
So,
if you see a real super giant, it's an impressive size gecko, not just a big fat gecko.
Well, it's length and everything comes involved.
Yes.
You see, the neck's different, in my opinion. They got this. There's so much more girth to them. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean?
No, I hear what you're saying, and I will say that people do say exactly what you said, G, that their geckos have gotten big, and I've had big males as well, but normally the biggest your non-super giant male will get is around 105 grams, 100 grams, 100. I mean, you won't be able to get them over that. I mean, when we're talking super giants, this guy right here, he was 136 grams. And, it's breeding season, and plus I'm feeding them a lot less. I took them off of super worms. I'm strictly feeding mealworms now. Like George said, they'll eat as much as you'll give them. And so right now he's 119 grams. And as you can see, his tail is still pretty fat.
Yeah, no, it looks that's about what size my female was. My male would get right around 140. He'd 138.
Yeah, so
142.
At 136 though, his tail is fatter than his head, I feel. Yeah. So that's why he went on a diet. But he's cool, man. And whenever I take, like, he's my mascot. I take him to shows with me, and it blows people's minds, man.
Yeah.
I always say, like, when I say their eyes are like bam, because you see that.
Yeah.
It's when they
see that.
They're like, that's a leopard gecko.
I got pictures of people, like so many people from behind my table, looking at him like.
That's funny.
So it's just like unbelievable. So anyways, this is what I was going to do. I brought out a bunch of super giants. I brought out yearlings. I brought out couple years. I brought out this guy, which is 4 years, just to show kind of, they're all not super giant size. I'm going to show you the years that they are from 2020. This guy is from 2016. He's 119 grams. If I could work my phone a lot better than this. This is special. I came on Luna Live, so I wanted to do it a little classier and get a computer here.
Oh, nice.
It's nice. The first time. It might be the first time in like 5 years I've been on a computer.
Well, we appreciate it.
Anyway, so
hey,
this.
Let me
this
tell
is
you
my
how
mascot. His name is Dude.
You look good. You look
giant.
good in high def, Kev. You look good.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah. What's his name, Dude?
Dude, he's the dude, like the Big Lebowski, because he's so chill. Like, he doesn't even move, man. He just he just hangs out. Like you saw him on my shoulder. He doesn't move, man. I forgot he was even there.
Perfect for the shows when you got the kids coming to your table.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got the gecko you can hold. Oh, here's the super giant. He might make your arms fall off.
So this is right here. This is like my main female, just because I noticed I had
Look at that
she's
tail.
100 grams. She's 100 grams. She's from 2016 as well. I say she's my main female because I've bred lots of females, and she's the most consistent as far as putting out big babies goes. So she's pretty much where I'm breeding, and I can almost like down to say that her babies are going to be, around 100 grams. Male's going to be around 115 to 130, just because the pair that I pair right here, between Dude and her name's Jenga.
Nice.
I actually won her in a raffle off of Instagram, man.
Really?
Imperial Super Giants. He used to be big and he quit. His stock came from Ron Tremper. He had direct. So she's
wow.
She's one lineage away from Ron Tremper's line, produced by Imperial Super Giants.
You're winning raffles. You're hitting double hets. You're hitting triple hets. We're definitely going to Vegas.
Yeah, man. One time I was walking by a roulette wheel, and dude, I put down $100 bill on Black 28 because that's my number. I hit it, but they pushed my 100 away.
Oh, no money plays?
No money plays, man. I was so bummed on that.
That's 35 to 1, baby. That's 35 to 1. That would have been a nice
That's 35 to 1, man. Roulette's my game. I love roulette. This is a grandson to Dude right here, and he's awesome, man. He's so cool. He's one of my favorites. And he's little right now. He's only 100 grams. He's a Max Snow. He's a Max Snow Super Giant. Let me try to get his.
Yeah, I like that. Is that lavender in there?
It looks like lavender, yeah, but it wasn't. Nothing came lavender. It just showed up that way,
Very cool.
But he has a very thin tail, as you can see. So not to say any thin, but he's not overweight. He's 100 grams and he's not overweight, is what I'm trying to say with that.
Well, I've heard you talk about that too. You're a big proponent of feeding them appropriately. So
yes,
you're very careful in your feeding regimen, where a lot of people, you feel like a lot of people overfeed geckos in general.
It's so crazy to think that people want to believe, and I don't do Facebook groups or none of that because it's very hard to talk to people that don't want to understand that these are reptiles and not mammals. If your gecko doesn't eat in 4 days, it's not going to die. Sometimes geckos don't eat a month and they're perfectly fine. They have water, sometimes they just, I've had a gecko really not eat for like 6 months. It took shipping bad, and it just wouldn't eat. It didn't lose a gram. These geckos, the geckos are smarter than people give them credit for, and sometimes I'm like super surprised. I think that I'm dumb for believing that they're smart, but they're endothermic, and when you stop feeding them, they go from the hot side of their tank to the cold side of their tank because they know they don't have food and they're going to conserve their energy. So to get a gecko to lose weight, it's very, very hard. Like I said, they're smarter as far as that's the way they were made.
I mean, it's
they're good at keeping their body weight.
They might not be good at roulette, but they certainly can manage. Their if you think about their body like a machine, they have that machine pretty tuned.
Yeah.
Well, that's the number one question I get every time you sell a gecko. Within 3 days, whoever bought the gecko is messaging me saying it won't eat. Well, it's not going to. I don't know of a single gecko that I pack them up, put them in a deli cup, put them in a box, drive them to a show, put them on a table for a day or two. Somebody buys them, carries them around the show, puts them in the car, takes them home, puts them in a new tank. That gecko's not going to eat.
Nope.
Yeah.
And
I put a gecko, when I get a gecko shipped to me, my normal thing is I set it up with the 3 hides. I put it obviously one hide's on the heat. I put a thing of water in there, and I don't even look at the gecko for a week. I understand it might not eat. I understand it could possibly eat, but it doesn't need the food right away. Okay.
No, Nicholas, you just said, when we judge reptiles on how well they do human things, and I think that's an issue with animals in general. People always want to humanize an animal. Like I think my dog's a person, but you can't humanize them.
So right here, this is what George was saying. So I've heard, I've heard Matt Baronic talk about how the supergiant gene was tied to the Tremper lineage, and that you couldn't really have supergiant other stuff because you needed the actual Tremper in there to actually have the supergiant. Now, I don't know if that's true, but here is a female non-supergiant, which is a sibling to the Max Snow I just showed right here.
Yep.
I've been trying to make a wild type supergiant because, like I said, I love wild types.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make a wild type supergiant, and I finally did this year, but it's not supergiant size. So this gecko right here hatched out June 15th. Whoa! Still good, dude. Still good, baby.
Yes.
Anyways, this gecko right here hatched out June 15th, 2020. And it's a sibling to the one I just showed. And she's only 63 grams.
Yeah, just crossed the year. A couple days ago.
Just crossed the year and is only 63 grams. So I don't know if it's telling that it's tied to the supergiant gene or not, tied to the Tremper gene or not. But I'm keeping this obviously, and I'm gonna cross it back to its father. And the only reason I didn't bring the father out is because the father something happened to him, man, psychologically messed up. Just I don't know what happened, man, but he went crazy. I can't explain it, man. You can't really look at him. You can't touch him. He wags his tail nonstop. He doesn't like to be bothered.
That just happened to me. We did it's a fat tail. His name's Picasso, and he was like a teddy bear. He's big. He's probably, I don't know, I haven't put him on a scale in a long time. He's probably in the 70 plus gram range. For a fat tail, that's a pretty big looking boy. And he was the most docile animal. Like, I could flip him on his back and he would just sit there. He was like a teddy bear. We did an event at a school, I don't know, a month or so ago now. And I didn't take any females because they were either just finishing laying or they were all gravid and I didn't want to mess with them. So I only took males. And at one point at the school, I didn't take them out, but I let the deli cups like float around the room to where all the kids could like hold the deli cup and look at them. And Handy Dandy comes back carrying 2 males saying, I don't think they're happy. And he had his mouth wide open. He was pushing on the top of the deli cup. He was not happy. And ever since that day, I can't even get him out. So like on cleaning day, I have to take his hide, turn it upside down, and get him to walk in it like a bowl. And then I pick the hide up and take it over and put it in another container. He won't let me touch him. He starts giving you that little tail rattle, and he's coming. So, and he used to be the nicest gecko in the world. So I don't know. He doesn't like kids or something. I don't know.
Which is understandable.
Well, they weren't touching him or anything. They were just looking at him, but he didn't like him.
This guy, I don't know how extreme it goes, but this one is unhandleable. I can get him out and I can hold him, but he's just not comfortable, man. I can tell he's super nervous. I've never had a gecko like this. It's like you open it up and his tail starts like a
And he
like a
wasn't
rattlesnake, and he looks
he
like he's
wasn't
about
always
to.
like that.
He hasn't. He used to be cool, and like I don't know what happened, man. You know, it's just the weirdest thing. So I got more, baby.
Come on.
Bring it
All
on.
right, so this is the next thing I do. I got a male and female that I bred a little early on. I was waiting, you know, I kind of didn't want to wait the 2 years. I kind of wanted to do two things with this. I wanted to test out if I was going to stunt my geckos sidely. I made that up so I could say that I just wanted to speed up my project without waiting another year to not stunt them. I said,
Right.
well, if I stunt the female, at least I'll, you know, she still has super giant genetics. I can move my project on and then work from there and grow out the babies of those, and then wait the 2 years to breed them so I don't stunt them. But I don't really think it matters. Honestly, I really don't think it matters because I'm about to show you the parents, which the male is 100 grams and the female, she's 84 grams. She might have got stunted a little bit. And then I have a baby of hers, two babies from there. The other ones I sold. So it's hard to give exact percentages unless I kept everything back. But I brought these guys because it shows the difference between the siblings, and they're both females. One's 100 and one's 80 grams. One's 100 and one's 57 grams, actually.
So you're thinking that if you breed, because you think they take almost 2 years, 18 months to 24 months to actually reach full size, full maturity. You think if you breed them before that you're gonna affect their ultimate growth rate?
I think females. I think males. I don't think. So this is a male. This is from the Sunglow line. I actually I mixed my Sunglow male that I got from John Scarborough to a Tremper that I got from myself. Got it from myself. Anyways, this is him. He's 99 grams. Wait, this way. He's 99 grams. Try to get his back so you could see.
Yeah, nice.
Whoa, come on, dude. There we go. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I made him. And then he's from 2 years ago. He's from 2019. So I bred him in 2020 and held back the babies. And here is... This is the female that I bred him to. She's 80 grams. I feel like she was stunted, but I don't know that for sure. I'm just, I can't 100% because like we said, we're not 100% that all super giants are getting to size.
Yeah.
So do I really know if I stunted it or not? Because it could just be a gecko that didn't get to a size. What I can guarantee is that it has super giant lineage on both sides. I didn't breed a regular gecko to a super giant and get, an 80-gram gecko, which an 80-gram female is still a big female.
That's right.
I mean, let's say I feel like most females are in the 60-gram range, maybe a low 72, a healthy female.
Yeah.
So
Kevin, I had a super giant and didn't quite make the size, and she sits at about 60, 70 grams. And when I pair her, she came from a super giant pairing. When I pair her back to a super giant male, you still get 120, 130 gram animals, like males.
Exactly.
But that's what makes me think, like, if you got, like, for example, not saying bad, not trying to speak bad, but in my family, we're quite big people, and my little sister is stick thin. But she could have a son that would be a big person like all of us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that might be Ron's argument that it's recessive, but it's also the exact same argument for polymorphic or polygenic, is because there's so many different alleles that affect the size of a human. As an example, you're right. If it's in your family history, it could come out. That's there's great color. Look at that. Look, that you got some great color on. That's a sun glow, yeah.
Yeah, it's a sun globe. The kids came out amazing, and the small one that I have that's 57 grams. She's really pretty, man, and it's a shame that she's so small because I'm probably not going to breed her because she's that small. Even though that she's a super giant, I don't want to pass on anything like that. So I'm not going to sell her as a super. I don't know how I'm going to sell her. Here, let me show her. Let me show you her first.
I've been asked. I've been asked that question before. Is you have a 120, 130 gram male, and you want to breed it to a 60 gram female. Are you worried about it? And I've never had an issue breeding dissimilar sized animals.
Me neither.
Yeah, it doesn't seem. Look at that tail.
She's stunning.
She actually is she is a great looking gecko, man.
Yeah, she's bright on the camera, let alone in person.
Yeah, very bright, gorgeous tail.
Yeah, so the pairing. So what I did was I took the two I just showed you, the two sun glows. They're siblings. So I took the two. I held back my two most orange, and I bred them together to kind of line breed for more of the sun glow look. Because people call sun glows, but to me, sun glows have no spots.
Yeah, no, that's. I was just having that conversation yesterday about creamsicles, and you can. Technically, if you do the pairing, it's not really a creamsicle until you get the look.
I forgot to mention that one that was 57 grams that I just showed you. Yeah, hatched out May 27th, 2020.
Okay.
So she's only 57 grams and fat tail. But even if she wasn't that fat, she probably would be like a 50 gram. She eats really well. Again, that came from two super giants for sure. And this is a sibling, and this is also a female, just like that one. And
hey, Robbie, we just had a question about low temperatures contribute to darker albino.
Yes, and I love it. I love the darker albinos. In fact, I got called out on Facebook, and I didn't see it, so somebody sent it to me, and I got called out for listing non-albinos on Morph Market and being a breeder that didn't know that he didn't have albinos. And I was like, dude, these are albinos, man. These are dark. You think? I was like, you listen to my podcast. Why do you have to go and make a Facebook post about me? You could have just contacted me, man. You're here calling me out, making me look like I don't know what the hell I'm talking.
Facebook have a thing. People on Facebook have a thing for belittling people, from what I've noticed. Instagram's very light-headed,
I agree.
If people want to breed lemon frost, enigma, that's down to that person. It's something that I personally don't do, but I haven't got any problem with anybody else trying to outbreed something, maybe trying to outbreed the tumors or whatever. That, on Facebook is very much belittling.
Oh yeah. Facebook is
a cesspool sometimes.
Pretty brutal. Well, what's funny is I've heard some people comment that only Facebook is for serious breeders. That's like saying Detroit is the only place you can get a real car.
I've heard that, man. Isn't that crazy?
That is the silliest thing. That's just. That's folks.
Dude, that is so. I heard that, and I said to myself, I guess I like being considered not a serious breeder, man. Because
well, what happens is you sit there and attack people all day, and eventually, nobody's going to just take it. So they're going to go find somewhere where people are nice to them, and will answer their questions. And it seems like that whole newer generation actually launched on Instagram instead of on Facebook. And then eventually, the 5 people left on Facebook are going to look around and say, man, we don't have anybody to yell at anymore. Where'd they all go? Yeah. so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you were open, warm, welcoming, and didn't harass and didn't, attack people, maybe there would be more people that wanted to be there. But I could just see a bunch of auto executives, with closed factories sitting in Detroit saying, real cars are only made in Detroit. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So
crazy, man.
There's so many people out there as well that are worried to post. Like, I've had so many people message me like, "Oh, I'm worried to make a post. Can you ID this for me just in case?" Because you do have people there that are just there to get you. I mean, in the UK, to ship animals around in the UK, you have to have a license. You have to be a reptile licensed courier. You can't just hello, handy dandy.
Sorry.
Little technical difficulty.
In the UK, we don't have like FedEx, so you can't ship things around like in next day. You have to have reptile licensed couriers. And the reason why we have to have that is we used to send things off through Royal Mail, but animals were dying in extreme weather. And there was one incident, there was a famous tortoise, I can't remember his name, but the delivery driver put the tortoise box on the floor, forgot about it, and reversed it into the tortoise and ultimately killing the tortoise. So there was a big uproar. The company was sued. So Royal Mail said, "No, we're not doing this no more." So now you have to go for a DEFRA license. your van has to be heated, cables, mats, and whatnot,
Right.
temperature controlled. And I used to be a reptile courier driver within the UK, and that's what gave me. I got first dibs on everyone's animals last year. But back to Facebook, what mainly made me want to quit doing the courier is like if anything with animals, things do go wrong. Like you might deliver an animal and it's got stuck shed on him or whatever. It is a reptile, they do shed. But people have the tendency to post it on Facebook and outblast without messaging you directly. Like if someone would have messaged me directly, there's something we could resolve something. But to post you over Facebook, which happens a lot, even to us breeders, that's why so many people just stick on Instagram.
Yeah, well, the Gecko Cabin just said I'm too scared to ask questions on Facebook. We
That's why you've been in 6 days.
Yeah, we opened. I'll send you guys a link. We opened. It's growing. There's not that many people on it right now, but I always mix this up. I launched a server, a Luna Geckos channel or a Luna Geckos server on Discord, and then we have a safe space chat room there, and couple guys. Wally's an administrator, Handy Dandy's administrator, Jay up at Winter Meadows administrator, and it's designed. The premise is there's no such thing as a dumb question, and it's designed, to be a safe space. And really, the only rule is we don't bash, we don't belittle, we don't bully. That'll get you kicked out. You can come in there and put a picture on there of your gecko on sand, and nobody's going to be mean to you. I mean, we can talk about, different ideas or different opinions, but, it's a lot of newer folks have been coming in over there because I think for that exact reason, they don't want to ask those questions in a group forum where they're just going to get, potentially lit up. And, there was a thing floating around this week. The easiest way to kill a hobby is to discourage new people from entering. So, there's truth to that. So if we don't, nobody knows everything. Some people know more than others, but nobody knows everything. So, there's not one way to do things. There's countless ways to do things. So I think if you're just open-minded and willing to learn, you should, if I don't learn something new every day, then I kind of wasted the day. So, I want to learn something new every day.
I agree with that, and I think that I want to say I think the hobby is great, man. And I've gotten nothing but positive feedback from everybody. I barely ever got any hate. I'm talking with a guy from the UK. I have conversations with guys that are in France. I go into Google Translate. I put my English in. I get my French. I go back and forth like that, man. I mean, it's crazy. And I've really gotten no hate, man. I've gotten like that one time I mentioned and maybe another one, recently. But besides that, I mean, I think between all the podcasts I listen to, and I've done a couple. This is my second. I've done Strength in Leos a couple times, and now Mutant Geckos, and I hope to do more. I really like talking about it. I think for the most part, people are very inviting, and people are sharing.
A hobby is boring without people, and when Gino was doing the open mics for Mondays for random people to come on, brilliant idea, fantastic. There's so many people out there that feel like they can't speak to people like us because we got a little bit more experience behind us. People feel like we've got that typical attitude, which is not the case. Me personally, I'll speak to anybody. I love leopard geckos so much, I will go to Bread and text you about leopard geckos.
Hey, Jay just said that you're mean to him every day.
It's because he keeps sending me photos of you know what, Gino.
He said you're bullying him, and he's going to report you. So
he always says, "Just the black man over there." Oh yeah, I didn't want to say that on the live tray, but yeah, spot on.
He sent that same picture to me. I don't.
I'm glad I never gave him my email address.
He sent me a photo of you know what and said, "Do you think that is as white as my Blizzard?"
I think I thought he accidentally put his girlfriend's underwear on or something. I didn't know what happened, but
so did I. I thought, no way. That's
Kevin, if you're interested, I'll send you the pic. I think it's a call.
Good.
So
I'm good. Why don't you post it up for everybody to see?
It must be. This is a family show. It must be his outfit when he's on that pole in the living room.
I saw him on that pole.
He's better than me.
That's what he wears when he hits that pole.
Hilarious.
George brought a gecko. Let's go, Big George.
I've only got the one gecko I showed earlier.
Well, yeah, we gotta bring it up here real fast. Look at this. Now that's got great length, and
honestly,
but doesn't.
The thing with super giants is people automatically think weight, which there is the case. There is weight, but there's also length. If I could get one of my normal males, and I could make him 110 grams if I wanted to. He would look unhealthy. He would be eating too much. But if I wanted to, I could. The same with this female. I could get her 110 if I wanted to. She's from Steve.
Jay just said he's sending it to you because every gecko breeder in the UK has seen that picture. So it's coming your way.
I have. I mean, the one I gifted Jay, this super giant.
Oh yeah,
the size of my pinky finger. I went to him because of how it hatched.
Right.
Said, that will be a big animal. He went, no way. And now look at it. I think it's 138 grams. Is that right, Jay? 138.
Yeah, it's big.
It's only just reached a year old.
Apex Geckos in the house. What's happening?
Apex Geckos.
Let's if anybody has any questions. Go to the Q&A for a minute. Let's see if anybody has any questions. We can look at the comments. You went past it. Right down Q. There it is.
I'm gonna get something else before you guys do it.
Yeah.
I always throw up everything.
No, I know, but I miss a lot of them because I'm trying to look at the question that you pop up, and I'm trying to make eye contact with these guys. Palmetto's been dealing with some super giants over there.
We've answered all the questions.
Yeah, we got them all.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got a good thing to mention real quick. Not about super giants actually, but just in blood in general. Especially you with your Black Knights and George with his Black Knights and people that have bloods and different lineage of tangerines, the whole 87.5.
Oh, you got a crested there. Is that a lily?
It isn't a lily. It's a tricolour. I'm just waiting for it to fire up. Funny, I do have a lily here. Whoa.
Oh yeah, cool. Very cool. So
I've got like 10 cresties here. It's just I wouldn't class myself as a cresty breeder at all. It's just that when I moved all the animals from my flat, I missed having something here to play with. So that makes, I miss feeding something, I miss cleaning something. So I thought, get myself a little collection of Cresties, and I got some really nice stuff here.
Well, I'm kind of
Again,
in the same.
it was all picked up from my courier journeys.
Kind of in the same boat. They're I've got, because this whole wall over here is just racks, and if you didn't know there were geckos in there, it just could be a shoe collection or something. And I used to be a fish guy. When I was a little kid, my room was full of aquariums. I had, I used to breed guppies and black mollies, and I just loved it. And then when I got into my teenage years,
Jay's leaving.
Later, hey, make sure you sunscreen everything. And that we don't want that. We don't want that. A new photo of red stuff instead of that white. But we don't want a burnt red. I don't want a new photo. But I got into reef tanks and, started doing natural reefs. And I just loved that look. It was so soothing. So I started doing, the new cows, because I spend so much time in here. I get to look at, it's an aquarium without water. So I get to look at the plants and the naturalistic environment. And so that's why I do, cresteds and gargoyles and, am I in the way?
They're very easy to look after too. They pretty much
they're super easy. My favorite are the Urodactylodes. I love the Urodactylodes. But Kevin, what was your question about? You're talking about why people are. You're seeing a lot with Black Knights where, it's 87.5 or it's 50% or it's.
Well, I just wanted to. So I wanted to go about that. Like a lot of people are putting 87.5% blood and 87.5% Black Knight. 50% this, 50% that, and I just wanted to point out you could have a 25% animal that is more black than an 87.5% animal.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, it's just the fact that the blood is there because you want to claim like
that night 12% or 15% or whatever it was. I mean, I didn't buy it for the darkness, and like you said, Kevin, it's darker than some of the Black Knights I've been seeing for sale.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. Some people might, read into it as. I just look at it as a guide to say, a purity guide, like how many generations away from the original line are you?
You could figure that out, but also I feel like a lot of with the tangerines that a blood tangerine has a certain look to it, correct?
Yeah,
like a blood tangerine has a certain look to it. So you could have a 50% blood tangerine that looks more blood than an 87.5% blood.
Handy Dandy's dad just popped in the chat. What's up, Mark?
What's up, Martin?
It's Mark. Real fun. He put him back up real fast. Avid fisherman. He makes a couple products. His products are carried in large, retail sporting goods stores.
Academy.
So yeah, Academy Sports. I didn't know if everybody would know what Academy Sports are, but makes some cool fishing stuff. Real fun. But
you have a couple other questions.
yeah, go back to the Q&A. I just like that screen better. I spent all morning making that screen. We got to use it, right?
Cool.
So, mainly for UK breeders, where's the cheapest way to make or get a rub stack? What's a rub stack?
I'm assuming they mean like a rack.
Oh, like a rack? It's called a rub stack?
Yeah, the cheapest option in my opinion is to get some melamine board from like your B&Qs, your Selco, your builders merchants. I mean, you could probably make a rack for about 40 geckos for about £100. That's just how I've always done it. Because I work for a building company, it was actually my father's company. I'm quite fortunate. I'm quite good with my hands, and we always get spare materials too that I can just throw wood together, some paint, router out some key cable.
Do you build your own?
Yes, I build on my own.
Now, I got a question about melamine because it's heavy. So melamine is really heavy. So it's if you never have to move the rack, it's great. But if you have to move it, you better get some friends.
The other thing mine is I got some thick battens and I put them on the side and had the melamine on the top. so that way he doesn't move. You could put a screw in either side,
Yeah.
but that way he doesn't move. But when you do want to remove it, it's just simple 2 screws, pull your cable out, and you can slide it out. I'm not too sure if the materials we use over here and to America are different. A lot of it is made out of like a chipboard, so it is heavy, but it isn't too heavy.
Yeah, it's like compressed board that
That's right.
has the melamine coating on it. But the other thing is, I've heard and I've read, melamine is loaded with formaldehyde,
Yeah.
and then you're putting heat on that surface that has formaldehyde in it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember where I heard that. It might have been Mutation Creations. I think Billy might have told this story. I don't remember where I saw it because, when you're doing a 10-hour cleaning day, I listen to a lot of live streams. But I want to think it was Billy. There was a big commercial snake breeder that moved from one facility to another facility. And when they went to their new facility, they built all custom racks out of melamine. And their production went way down, and they didn't have any idea what happened. So they hired an environmental company to come in and do was there something wrong with our air, or what's going on here? We have radon. What is going on in our building that is causing this to happen? And they gave them the results back, and they had huge, almost toxic levels of formaldehyde. And they're like, where did you take those readings? And they said, we took those readings in your snake rack. And it was the heat and the melamine was releasing that formaldehyde. And
That's nuts.
That's crazy. I mean, everywhere I use my heat, I always use, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, it's almost like aluminium tape. It's like, I use that for everything. So when I do router out a line for my heat cable, I do put the tape in, the heat conducting tape, and then that on top. So I don't know whether they've had some kind of issue putting heat directly onto it, and obviously the heat is lifted up some fumes. I know some people have used like a chipboard, and after installing their heat mats and everything, they can smell almost like a glue, because obviously the heat is heated up the glue and whatnot. But yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't listen. I don't know enough about it, but I just heard the story. And Nicholas just said he's heard Gary talk about it on Fauna as well. So maybe I heard it on Fauna. I thought. Well, he said Billy and Gary. So I thought I heard Billy talking about it, but it might have been Gary. But it's a known fact that melamine. Well, really all furniture that has that melamine coating on it, it has formaldehyde in it. It has high quantities of formaldehyde. I don't know if it's releasable. So don't run out and burn, throw away all your melamine racks. It's just something I heard, and I was asking if you guys knew anything about that. Kevin, do you build your own racks, or do you?
I have 8 racks I built, which are all of my adult racks, which I keep my adults in 26 quart tubs. So I have about 80 spots of those. I have a crazy amount of tubs. And then I have sea serpents. So I have
my daughter loves the sea serpent racks, so she has all sea serpent racks. And I don't know, the first rack I ever bought was a Vivarium Electronics, the VE6 racks.
Yeah.
So it was the first one I bought, and I like things to match.
That's where
I just kept buying more of them. Now I have 10 of them.
Well, that's how I did. So sea serpents, when I bought out Imperial Super Giants, I bought out a few of his breeders, and then I bought one of his 10 racks. The 10 tub racks.
Yep.
And then I bought a 16 I don't know which one, V18, V6, V18. Yeah, the 16 tub V18, I think it is.
Are those the ones with the 6 quarters in them, the baby racks?
No, they got the long. They're like long tubs and skinny.
Okay.
There's 16 in there. So, anyways, I've had one of those. So then I just bought 4 more of those, and I bought 4 baby tubs. Everything of mine is on what the hell do you call it? Wheels.
Yeah.
Casters. There
I'm
you
on
go.
I'm on caster wheels too.
I love the casters. I did that this year, and it's amazing, man. To be able to slide your racks around and clean
Yeah.
underneath them and the whole deal. And I don't know if actually, let me see if I can bring you with me.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a rack problem. So I don't know, I guess a couple weeks ago I was on Fauna with Gary and Andrew, and we were talking about like housing and racks, and I was getting really nervous because I was running out of rack space. I ordered two. I knew this season was going to be bigger than last season, and I knew I needed more bins. So I ordered what I thought was in plenty of time, right at the beginning of May. I ordered two more racks, and it usually takes 4 to 6 weeks. So I figured I'd have them in plenty of time because July is when I peak. They're not here. PVC shortage. They're still not here. They did tell me the PVC is now in stock and they are coming, but I still don't have them. So I am 100% out of space, and I am now using my female incubator. My female incubator now has 6-quart Sterlites in it with babies stacked up because I don't have rack space to keep them warm.
Spoiling them, Kevin, with them tubs. You're spoiling them.
Yeah.
I keep all my geckos in 32 litres, all my adults.
Yeah, so that's my adult racks, which I know they take up a lot of room. And here, those are all my my sea serpents.
Yep. Yeah, no. Hey, listen. I like the sea serpents too. That's all my daughter has. Are sea serpents. I just started with. I don't know. I live like 45 minutes from. I live like 45 minutes from them. Oh, so you just do pickups
there.
I have both of my incubators are sea serpents. The hot box.
Yeah, I see them. They're nice.
Yeah, I have the 24-inch that I use for males, and I have the 36-inch that I use for females. But I only had 4. The way I incubate is once I get to about June, middle of May to the end of May, I stop incubating for female because they're not going to be ready to breed next year. So I'm basically making animals you got to wait a year and a half on. So once I get to call it June 1st, I'm just making that day up. But once you get somewhere close to June 1st, every egg that's laid after that point, I only incubate male because I'll have them out in 35 days, and males could be sexually mature in 6 months. So all of those males will still be breedable in the following season.
Right.
And because of the way I work that system, so the first eggs that come out go female.
Bye, Apex. Thanks for joining.
The next clutch goes male. Then all 4 of those eggs are going to hatch at about the same day. So I'm going to have males and females coming out the same day or damn close to the same day, and I'm going to be able to see if this project is worth anything quickly. And then I can start to decide from there on, do I want more females? Do I want more males? What do I want to do with it? Then I get to June, and it's male all the way. Because if I hatch a female in September or October, you can't use that gecko next year. You got to wait all the way to the following season. Well, because of the way that system works here, my female incubator, which is my big incubator, was almost empty. I only had 4 or 5 deli cups left in it, and they'd all been in there for like 30, 40 days. They were coming down the backside of their due date. So I knew I was going to run out of space. And so every day for 5 days, because I keep them at 81 degrees. So every day for 4 days, I just bumped the temperature up 2 degrees. So I took them from 81 to 83. The next day I took them to 85. Then I took them to 87. Then I took them to 90. And then I took them all out and moved them into the male incubator. So I had an empty female incubator, took all the shelves out. Now it's full of 6 quarts with babies in them because I had nowhere to put them.
I like it.
I'm almost out of room I'm out of room now in that incubator. And my next, I have an old arboreal rack that I keep crickets and dubia roaches in. So the next baby that hatches, he's going in the cricket rack. So
Gee, I like that, man. You know,
Got to do what
that's
you got to
really-
do.
That's
yeah,
awesome, man.
hopefully
I actually do
the
it a little
racks get here.
different, but I might try your way, man, because I do males. I always do males first because I'm like, I can't wait. I want to
Yeah.
throw them all in the male. I want to see what I pop out. So I know, like, all my firsts are going in there. They're male.
Well, if you do
And I get to see
that
what I
first
have.
clutch female, second clutch male, you're going to get all 4 of those geckos are going to hatch within a couple days of each other.
Yeah,
And
I actually
gonna
like
see,
that.
You're going to see them all.
I'm gonna start looking into that. I think I'm gonna start doing it that way.
Yeah, and the big,
Next.
and then from that point on, if it's a project I really like, I start producing I'll go female, because I want females, because now I already
Yeah.
have a couple males, and then I hit that, that June cutoff, and I don't want to make females anymore because they're not
I
breedable.
like that. I agree with that 100%. I like that.
What do you have commercial incubator, or did you make one?
I use hover baiters still. I have some things to make them in the garage. I have the computer fans. I have a beautiful refrigerator. I'm in the scrap business, so I get some cool stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I have and I actually have an incubator. It's not even an incubator. Do you guys are familiar with what a proofer is?
Yeah, for it just keeps food warm.
Exactly.
Like
So I have
in the
one of
banquet
those.
business, like they're
I have
usually
a brand
big.
new one of those. Yeah. So I have a brand new one of those that has a container at the bottom and it has a humidity level, but it's commercial, man. I could put probably 300 eggs in there.
Yeah,
So
they're on wheels, and they're big in the banquet business because they got to roll
And
them
it's
down
clear.
to like the banquet room.
Yep, exactly. And it's clear. It's beautiful, man. But I don't know if I'm going to
Homemade
use it.
incubators for some reason, homemade incubators always work the best, in my opinion.
Well,
Every
the hover
time
bait is good, man.
every time I bought one and compared them, the old polybox, water bottles, heat, thermostat always works the best for me.
Is that so? That's what you're using to incubate?
That's what I use. Yeah, big poly boxes, your water bottles at the bottom, your heat mat, your thermostat. I am actually thinking about next season of getting like a almost like Kevin was saying, like a drinks fridge, and converting that.
What I started with the little mini fridges, and I liked because I was in Vegas at the time, and I liked them because they had the cooling feature, not just heat, but they could cool.
Yeah.
And if my air conditioner went out and it's 115 degrees in the summer, I can't keep an egg alive. So I like that safety net of the cooling
that's cool.
feature. But those darn things, you got 6, 7. They're only this tall, and you got like a 4, 5, 6 degree temperature differential from the top shelf to the bottom shelf. It's like, how's that?
Is that the Exoterra ones, Gino?
Yeah, a bunch of different companies make them, but yeah, I still have one. And what I use it for is new cow eggs, and I don't mind the temperature differential because most people just keep new cow eggs at room temp. Yeah. And my problem is the gecko room is typically in that 76, 78 degree range, and I find that a little too hot for new cows. I want them to grow slower, so I keep all the new cow eggs in the little mini fridge at 72 Fahrenheit, and it just slows down the hatch rate, and I get bigger crests and better developed geckos. So I still am using a mini fridge, but it's only for new cows. What I like about the hot box incubators is they have a false back, and then there's a circulation fan. So I can go in there right now and I can temp gun the top corner, and I can go temp gun the bottom opposite corner. I'm within 0.1, 0.2 degrees.
The false wall is key, and you can make them yourself with the false wall. All you do is have to put the false wall in. You slap the heat on the back, throw the false wall in the computer fan, and it'll blow the heat from that false wall into it. But I like those sea serpents, and I like what everything exactly the same. It's nice having that laboratory type of atmosphere than having like a hodgepodge of different stuff. So.
Oh, it drives me nuts. We went to Walmart yesterday because not only am I'm out of rack space for babies, I was down to my last couple 6 quarts, which is my emergency overflow now. So I'm like, we got to go get some more 6-quarts. So we went to Walmart yesterday, and they had the 6-quart Sterlites, but they only had them with gray tops, and all mine are white tops. And I'm like, well, I can't buy those. That's not going to match.
Nah, you did go there.
So no, I didn't buy them. So I went home and got on Amazon, and they're coming on Tuesday. So
I'm not that far, dude. I'm not that far.
I didn't even want non-matching lids because
Yeah, that's crazy.
it bugs me.
OCD kicking in, Gino.
Yeah. Well, and then even here, let me find one. Even like this little. Yeah, I don't even like when the holes and stuff look crappy. So I drill a 2-inch with a hole saw. I drill a 2-inch hole, and then these are from Vent Masters. So I have these,
Yeah, they're nice, dude. Very nice.
Smart.
It's the people that are using the glue gun and all that stuff. This is faster, and these are like $1 a piece. So I take a 2-inch hole saw, pop a hole, pop this in. And then you see the little tabs, fold back 4 little tabs. I got and it's aluminum, so I can get this wet. I can spray it. It's not going to rust.
So that's called, you said Vent Masters?
Vent Masters is where I get these. And they make them in 1 inch all the way up. So
I'm glad I'm not a perfectionist, man.
Like on the insect bins, these are 2-inchers, but on the insect bins, I got the big 4-inchers because I need more airflow in there.
Yeah, I feel like the crickets need a lot of airflow or they're goners.
Yeah.
That's nice, man. Vent Masters. I actually been looking for those. I spent some good time in Home Depot looking for stuff like that.
Yeah, you know what I think they're made for? I think they're made for like soffit venting. Because they're real thin, so they don't work good with wood. They have to be like glass or plastic or aluminum. Because
Vent Masters.
Yep, 2-inch hole saw or a 4-inch hole saw on the.
You don't find the plastic is cracking when you're trying to drill through that plastic?
No. You're not hitting it. Go slow and steady until the teeth bite on the hole saw, and then.
Do you use a hole saw for your lay boxes also?
Yeah. Now, those I have cracked.
I crack them all the time.
I have cracked those. I use the little Ziplocs, and those will crack. Not that often anymore. One of the tricks, I leave the lid on when I'm drilling the hole, and it seems to hold the structural integrity a little bit better. It's with the lid off. It all wants a bend, and it seems like I'm much more successful with the lid on than with the lid off.
So I use for my lay boxes. I like to use the meal prep containers,
like the black ones.
The black ones with the clear top.
Yep.
So I cut the corner off, and then I use it so they can get in there. I used to use a hot iron to cut it off, so it would leave a rounded edge. But you kill yourself when you do that. So I stopped doing that because the burning plastic ain't good for anything.
No, well, it's
so I noticed when you cut it, it still leaves. It's not sharp at all. So, I want to start being more using something that's gonna like a hole or something like that.
I use the soldering iron to make the little vent holes in the tubs.
Yeah,
Exactly what I use as well.
Look at that. So uniform, man. You should see my tub holes, man.
And then I use the hole saw for this.
Where is it?
Yep.
He uses.
I'm not as perfectionist as you.
Not even in the straight
line. Nice little pyramid going.
Well,
he actually has like a little
it's
jig,
template he uses for each one.
I got it right here. It's patent pending. I made this like 5 years ago. So I made a template out of cardboard that I measured, and then I used just a little hole punch to make my 6 holes. So then I take this and I slide it on all the tubs, and I use a Sharpie to put a dot. Take this away, and I'll just do every one of them, and then plug in the soldering iron and I just follow the dots. So I have, if you looked at my racks, every
Beautiful,
single
man.
tub on my rack has the exact same hole pattern because I spent 2 minutes doing this.
Yeah, well, if I had exact same hole pattern, man, I'd have to change things up. I'd be like, wait a second, those look the same? Nah, I ain't having that. I gotta go put an extra hole in there.
Freestyle it.
Yeah, well, when I first started doing those vent holes, for those Ventmaster screens, I would measure because I wanted them. When you have like a whole bunch of them,
Yeah.
I wanted to look at them, and then I realized, an eighth an inch or a quarter inch, you can't tell. So now I got to drill too many of them. So now it's just grab the tub, drill it, grab the tub, drill it, and off. If it's off by a quarter inch, I don't care. So somebody asked what kind of racks you use, George. I got to point that way.
Yeah, no, I build all my racks myself. I mean, you can use. I've seen a few people use MDF board. I think Jay used MDF. Yeah, I build all mine myself. I know there's a few companies like LRVV Racks over here, outstanding racks. But me personally, because I am good with my hands, I can make 3-4 racks for the price of buying one. But that's just me personally because I am good with my hands.
Yeah, well, even with the price of lumber, I think what's that meme that's floating around? There's like, a pickup truck with a sheet of plywood in it, and the meme is like, look at this guy showing off his wealth with all that lumber in his truck.
There used to be I'm in the scrap business, so there used to be there was no memes, but just a saying, for a while cardboard was real expensive and steel was really cheap. So the guy living on the street in the cardboard box was living it up, while the guy in the steel shack didn't have the same expensive house.
There's that meme also where they're dining and it's at Lowe's in the lumber section. And it's like, oh, I love when you take me somewhere fancy.
It's true though.
It would be.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Hey, those racks I have in my garage would have cost me double the amount of money today to build out of the plywood, because a sheet of plywood is now $70.
That's crazy.
And I bought those sheets for $32 a piece.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now I'm about to. I'm gonna do these are just those metal, shelves back here that have a piece of like MDF or whatever on top of them. I'm about to redo this. I want to go taller, and I want to be able to get 5 tanks across, and I want to go up one more row. So I'm gonna make it. I think I'm gonna make it out of 2x4s.
Those are nice.
That's an upcoming project. Plus, I need to be able to fit a reservoir on there because I want to change. I'm using the monsoon systems, which I've outgrown the monsoon systems. I want to put the the Miss King on all these, and
that's key, man.
Yeah,
cut down the amount of work. I don't have any. I only have a couple snakes that are bioactive or semi-bioactive. No plant life, but bugs, and I love it, man. If I was to have multiples, I would have it set up on the Miss King. Dude, very little work. I mean, I haven't cleaned that tank in about a year, and the bugs take care of everything.
Yeah, the only thing I have to do is I have to clean the poop off the glass before I go live with you guys, so everybody.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen with snakes, I don't think.
No,
at least they poop on the glass.
No, well, that's the darn thing with these new cows. They love pooping on the glass.
George, can you answer this question?
Going back to racks, I've been searching for heat tape.
It's about the heat tape. So if you mean heat tape, do you mean heat conducting tape, or do you mean the heat tape as in the long stretchy heat mats that you can cut to size? If it's the heat strips, you will have to get those overseas. If you're talking about the heat conducting tape that you use to stick down heat cable that makes it almost into a heat mat,
is that what
you can get that on Amazon? It's just called aluminium tape. It's just heat conducting.
Yeah, you can get that probably at just about any hardware store.
Yeah.
Well, the tape that holds it down. So you're using cable. You're not using.
I use heat cable.
So you're using heat cable. Are you?
Yeah.
Is it just all you use heat cable too, Kev?
I have one rack that had heat cable. I built a baby rack last year that I took apart, but I like the heat cable a lot. A lot. Heat cable's awesome.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a lot less to cost to run it as well. Like if you look at one heat mat, it could be like 70 watts, but you can get 12 meters of heat cable. That's 100 watts.
Yeah, my racks are all well. So are the Sea Serpent racks. They all come with, I think 4-inch. I think I have 4-inch.
Yeah, it's 4 inch. I think it's 3 inch actually. Maybe.
Okay, and so like all these racks are made with a CNC, so they cut a groove across the bottom.
Well, it's nice. I did that too in my racks.
And the heat tape sits down in there, and it's basically you buy. Who makes what are the companies like TH something or other, and I can't even think of the heat tape companies. There's an American company, but TH something. I want to say THC, but that's not it.
It's THP, no?
I can't remember, but it basically looks like almost like a little electronic circuit board, George, and you could buy it in 20 feet, 50 feet, whatever, and you can cut it with scissors. And it snakes through every shelf of the rack. So every shelf of the rack has 4 inches of heat tape on the back.
Yeah, I've seen some people use underfloor heating as well. It's essentially just a sheet of mesh with just heat cables on it. But I've always used. Well, I say always used. I've been using heat cable for the last 2 years and. No problems at all.
Yeah, I was in the same situation last. There it is. Yeah. So that's it. And then you just have 2 plug-in ends on it. Probably has the company on it.
THG heat.
THG. All right. I was close to THC, but the heat cable last season sitting in Canada. Couldn't get VE6 racks. I mean, I could get them, but they would get shipped to Buffalo, and then I'd have to cross the border and bring them over. But because of COVID, I couldn't cross the border. They wouldn't let me back in. So I was in the same situation last year. I thought I was going to be in trouble. And I bought a bunch of heat cable, and I was just going to use IKEA shelves and just run heat cable through it. Well, I ended up selling a bunch of geckos. 2020, everybody was buying a gecko, right? So I sold a bunch of geckos, ended up never needing the space. So then, I don't know, a month or so ago at a show, I threw that heat cable and that little temporary thermostat on the table. I'm like, $15. I just don't, it's just been sitting in the gecko room, taking up space and getting dust on it. And now I need it. And I wish I had it again, but, oh well.
This is off an old rack. This is off an old rack. I took it and held on to it. It's been off the rack for like 3 years. Still have it. No tables.
Yeah, I have a spare set that goes the exact. It's cut and has the plug-in ends. It's the exact length of one of the VE6 racks, just in case I ever lose heat tape. I could pull everybody out and just quick. I don't have to order it. I could just quickly rerun it. Same thing with like fuses on your thermostats. If you don't realize your thermostat has a fuse, you should find out, and you should see what size fuse, and you should buy 5 of them and just have them sitting in your gecko room, because if that fuse blows at 2 o'clock in the morning, good luck getting a fuse. So for a couple dollars, you should have extra fuses laying around. You should have contingency plans. You should have some backup plans. What if your power goes out? What if have plans.
Hey George, Kamikaze says no. I meant the heat tape, like heat mats. Do you use a heat cable that's like a rubber wire? Because I got a load of that.
George is using heat cable.
Okay. Yeah, so I use the ZoomEd heat cable. Believe it or not, on most heat cables, the first meter by the plug doesn't work. So my advice is to always plug the heat cable in first, let it heat up, and run your hand across the bottom until you get to the point where you feel the heat, and then draw a little line. A lot of people will install their heat cable, and then the first tub at the bottom it hasn't got heat, because always the first meter of the heat cable doesn't work. What I do is I have 2 rows of cable per shelf, not just the one. I have 2 rows, and then when you use your aluminium tape on top of that as well, it inducts it, almost makes it like a heat strip. As for the heat cable, like the one Kevin just showed, we can't get those over here.
Okay, I have a couple more questions.
Go back to the Q&A screen, and then we're creeping. We just bumped.
I saw a question that was about Geeky Geckos. He controls his whole room with heat. I mean, that's absolutely fine. What works for somebody might not work for somebody else, but I do know somebody in the UK who done the similar thing, and the thermostat had gone on in the blow heater for the room, and it actually ended up cooking the geckos. So there's always that risk.
Yeah, that's I've seen Frank does that. It's he uses ambient room temperature. I don't know if he does it for everything, but he does have he uses ambient room temperature. I don't want to work in a room that's 90 degrees, so I don't know that.
You could 80 degrees. I'm telling you, 80 degrees ambient room temperature is pretty good for geckos. I feel, I've raised them at 80.
Oh yeah.
I've raised them at 80. They seem to do really well, grow really fast. They, very healthy. I mean, I have my stuff on heat tape, but I've done both ways. When I was, like I said, when I was younger, back in the 90s,
yeah.
I don't even think I had any heat tape on them, and I had them in a 50-gallon. I had 5 females, 1 male on sand, and the reptile books they all recommended you keep them on sand.
Right.
I have a magazine says keep them on sand. Reptiles magazine.
No, that's your favorite of the season right there, George. Looks just like you.
Aww.
He's actually a white and yellow rainwater, believe it or not. And if you look closely, I think the bay is showing some.
Oh my god!
Oh, bless him.
Well, that goes
back.
back.
Girlfriend, we're getting a dog. We're giving him a real name. So I was watching the Netflix series Narcos, and got a bit obsessed with Pablo Escobar. So I said to her, right, his name is Pablo Escobar. So when we take him for a walk, people always give us funny looks.
I love that series. That's a great series. Narcos, love it. That goes back to the thing before where there's multiple ways to do things. Like I had a guy, I've told this story before, but I had a guy I worked with in Vegas that found out that, I was into geckos, and he got my website, and he went and started reading care sheets, and he comes in my office. This guy, he's the VP of the Race and Sports Book. He's like the premier bookmaker in the world. Jay Cornegay is his name. And, always on ESPN. And anytime you're talking about sports odds or sports gambling, Jay's like the modern day Jimmy Degree. I mean, he's the guy. And so Jay, he comes in my office. He's all upset. And I thought we just got beat for $1 million on a NASCAR race or something, something that was going to make me have a bad day. And he's like, I was reading your website last night, and my son had a gecko when he was little. And, it's ours now, and we've been taking care of it. And I've got him in a 10-gallon aquarium. I have him on sand. I have an overhead heat lamp, and I feed him crickets like twice a week. I think I need to change all that. And I said, how old is it? He goes, it's like 12. And I said, you've been doing this for 12 years? And he said, yeah, but I'm afraid I'm going to kill him. I'm like, don't change a thing. He's 12 years old. It's working. So don't change it.
It's like trying to stop somebody who's 70 years of age who's been smoking ever since he was 14 to try and tell him to stop. There's no point. Just leave him. He's happy. He's healthy. Leave him.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to put an under tank heat, put him in a 20-gallon aquarium, get him off of sand, and start feeding him, mealworms. And then the thing's going to die, and he's going to be like, what happened?
Yeah, it's the same with like when we sell geckos, we keep everything in a racking system. So I've had a few people that have bought a gecko and they've put it in this big 3-foot vivarium, bioactive. It's like this gecko's gone like What is this?
What's going on? What is that plant over there? So, I actually want to do one. I have a retired female that I don't want to get rid of. That I want to get her out of the rack, and I've always wanted to do. You can't do them like these. I want to do something with that excavator sand or clay.
Okay.
That excavating clay where you can make
molds into caves and stuff. Yeah.
Have you ever played with that?
You should
I've
look.
seen some fantastic stuff come from it.
You should look at Josh's Frogs. They have a whole complete like bioactive setup for leopard geckos with the right kind of sand, bugs, springtails. All the springtails and isopods have to be, I guess, more of like arid.
Right. Right.
So you should check them out for sure, man. That's cool. It's definitely cool.
Yeah, but for the substrate, I know you're right. Because I get my ABG mix from Josh's Frogs for like these bios.
Yeah.
But you need a different soil. This is eco earth and tropical soil mixed with ABG mix, and you can just about any springtail isopod lives in there. But from like the background and trying to make like the caves and stuff, I don't want to use the spray foam. I want to use that that excavation. I don't even know what it's called. Excavator clay, I think, where you can. I've watched a couple YouTubes on it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a YouTube episode on it to see how it turns out.
Might end up people pop around balloons and they pop the balloons. Yeah.
I've seen people do Coke cans, balloons, and when the stuff dries, the balloon seems more easier because when it dries, you pop the balloon and you just take out the rubber and throw it away, and you have a perfect shape. So I don't know. We're gonna probably do one of those at some point and get her in a display tank and get her out of the rack system. But that's the only one over here that is not a producer. So I just don't breed her anymore. So we'll see. Hey, 2 hours, guys. I know it's Sunday. What's that? I've been watching that show, Anthony Padilla, on YouTube, where he interviews people, and at the end he gives them like open mic to promote anything they want. So put George on big. You got any final words? You got to talk about your new YouTube channel.
So I have decided to break into YouTube thanks to yourself, Gino. After the whole live with Jay, I don't know, something just ticked in my head. It made me think I want to do more of this. I don't know why. I'm quite I could be quite an anxious and nervous person in person. So for me to step the leap, it was a big thing. But I dream, sleep, eat reptiles. So if I can have another platform to express how I feel and talk to people, I don't know everything. We learn every day. Everyone's opinions is different, and I just wanted to bring another platform in to bring some people in, to do sort of something but yeah, no. And what I would like to say as well, I want to say it's really nice to speak to Kevin because of I've been following Kevin for a while, and I remember ages ago, a few years ago now, he put a post up of his son, and I messaged him, was like, "That's a nice white and yellow," and he's like, "I'm thinking more Max No." And it's been good to share because I've always been following Kevin, and it's been real good, guys. It's been real good.
Yeah, I think I ended up meeting you through Jay. But I think, Kevin and I probably hit Instagram about the same time. So I think we started talking, I don't know, probably 4 years ago, huh? Maybe 5. Ago. Yeah. So I think we might have both, showed up on Instagram or like, how's this thing work? It's probably about the same time. I bet if we went back and looked at our original posts, I bet we're pretty close to.
I'll tell you, mine was my first post on Instagram was February 16th, 2017.
Yeah, I'm probably.
January.
Well, I'm
So, you have so
probably,
many
I'm
posts.
probably, yeah. I'm probably close to that. It's probably just into the following year, but I don't remember. You know, my very first post on Instagram was actually an enigma. So it
I'm
was
with the tangerine.
it was a black hole female that I had just got from Steve Sykes, and I was
Yeah.
beautiful animal, but she's
Yeah.
long. She's not dead. I mean, she's long gone out of my collection, but um,
Stunning animals.
it was my first. It was my first post ever. So, Kevin, you're up, man. You got the floor. Tell.
All right, cool. What am I going to promote? I really don't have much to promote, but I'm going to say US Arc. All right, US Arc is important.
Amen.
Um, I know leopard geckos. I would give up US Arc if the wild people, we could keep animals easily, but that's not the case. I'd also like to promote the International Iguana Foundation. Give to your local conservation, whatever species you're passionate about. Donate to that. Whatever you can to help the wild animals. I'm not sure what else I have to promote. Super Giants are awesome. Black Knights are awesome. Leopard geckos, baby.
Yeah, man.
And you know what I gotta say? I really like the way that they say albino in Europe
Oh
and
yeah,
London.
everything.
Albino.
I really like. I'm trying to change my way of saying albino. I want to say albino. I don't want to say albino anymore, but I just can't get it out of there.
Can't make it work.
I can't make it work, man.
Well, you're the scientific. Give us the scientific name for African fat tails.
Hemithogonyx caticinctus.
Give him applause on that.
I love that.
I think I told you the story where because you jumped on our Instagram live, and every time I got to do, a African fat tail ship, I got to ship one, and I'm filling out the Lacey-Act sticker. I'm like, God darn it, I can't spell that, and I got to take out my phone, and it's so long that you'll start to spell out the hemi, and then you look at your phone, and your phone went off, and you're like, God darn it, and you got to put your phone back. I want to print them out real big and put them on the wall, so I can,
idea.
Every time I got to ship a fat tail, I could just look up there and I could write it. So
who do you ship through? Who do you ship through most of the time?
Primarily ship your reptiles.
Ship your reptiles.
But I know Debbie. I've also used Reptiles to You. But I primarily use Ship Your Reptiles because of the insurance option. And
I'm not sure which. Is that I use Reptiles Express?
Yeah, that's I don't use Reptiles. I've never used Reptiles. So there's Reptiles Express with an S. Reptiles.
No, I use the one with the E, no S.
Okay, Reptiles Express is the Canadian-based company, which is a good friend of mine. That's Sam. So all of my imports, exports back and forth from U.S. to Canada is Sam. And then the U.S. company, Reptile Express, is like Ship Your Reptiles, Reptiles to You. Yeah. I've never used them. I primarily use Ship Your Reptiles because they have an insurance option. And if I'm shipping, $2,000-$3,000 worth of Black Knights, I want some backup. But Reptiles to You is great too. Debbie is the face of Reptiles to You. She might be the nicest human on the planet.
Debbie is amazing. I use Reptiles Express personally just because they're the cheapest for the customers. They give you, the more you spend, you reach certain goals. They give 5% off. They give 10% off. The more you ship. So
I've received geckos from that, people that have used them, but I've never actually shipped one with them. I would say I probably use Ship Your Reptiles, 75-80% of the time, and then Reptiles to You the rest. And then obviously, if I'm going to Europe, it's Europe or Asia. I haven't done one in a while because I used to ship everything to Ham. There hasn't been a Ham show in forever. But that was all Dutch Dragon. But I haven't sent anything to Europe in a while. And a bunch of stuff. I'm still sending stuff to Canada almost every month. So, Sam. I think Sam does 2 or 3 days a week now, or 2 or 3 days a month now, where he's doing U.S. Canada imports. And basically, you FedEx it. You'd send it from Florida to his New York office. He drives across the border, picks everything up, and then takes it back through customs, and then distributes it from Toronto.
Oh, that's nice. I wanted to get more into international shipping. I've always I guess that's how it's done here too. When it goes to Europe, right? It goes to a person, and then they move it to Germany normally, right. And then a person distributes over there. Correct?
Exactly. That's when I use Dutch Dragons. I'd ship it to LA, and the cool thing because you ship it a day early just in case, because if there's a delay, you're going to miss the customs day or the actual export day. So Sam's not taking, like Canada as an example, Sam's not taking them across the border until Wednesday. Well, I ship on Monday, so he gets it in New York on Tuesday. Well, his team in New York, they unbox them and they water them and they make sure they're okay. And then Wednesday morning, they box them back up, and then they go through customs.
All right, cool.
And then and then they get shipped, then they get taken right to Toronto and FedEx to wherever in Canada that same day. So you typically get them on Thursday, unless you live in Toronto. You can get them on Wednesday. You just pick them up at Sam's office. But and I think 9 out of 10 people in Canada live in Toronto, so it's there's like 38 million people in Canada, and I think 8 million of them live in Toronto, or the Toronto Metroplex. So it's crazy.
So I got one more question for you real quick. Is this live stream able to be seen by people after we get off? Like they're going to be able to check it out?
Yeah, it will be. It'll be available on Luna Gecko's channel and on YouTube, and we also replay the chat. So all the questions and everything that occurred, you'll be able to replay the chat and see that all at the same time. Yes, indeed. Well, gentlemen, I'm gonna put it on Big G for my parting words, because I'm gonna,
G.
I think no. The one, didn't we have?
Just G out?
No, there's one. There was
G big.
Yeah, G big. Yeah, that one. I like that screen. So, we talked about this a little bit today, and Kevin, you mentioned US Arc, and I couldn't agree with you more. But one of the things that I would add to that is, if we can't support each other and be and function as a respectful, great community, we don't even need US Arc. Because if we can't get along, then what's the point of US Arc supporting our community or our hobby or our industry? Because if we can't support each other, then they don't need to pass laws. They don't need. We're gonna be self-destruct. So they could just sit back and watch us self-destruct, and then we're going to be like, hey, where'd everybody go? Are they all in Detroit now making cars? I don't know what happened. So I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time. I know it's a Sunday. I know it's George. You're probably 15 points behind Jay at this point. So you got to go. you got to go catch up.
Yeah, I'm ready for brunch.
Kevin, it's past. It's almost creeping up on dinner time now. Well, you're in Florida, so you're going to go get that early bird buffet somewhere? Maybe
I'm almost there.
You mean?
Maybe catch a matinee and then go hit the early bird. Yeah. And Handy Dandy's ready for some mimosas. So
I worked hard today.
We're going to sign you guys off. Love you both. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers, Kevin.
See you guys.
You, Jordan, and we'll talk.
Now it's just G. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into another Luna Live. Really appreciate Kevin and George coming in and spending time with us, talking about Super Giants, Blue Amber Eye, all kinds of different things today. Make sure that you go give Mutant Geckos and Elite Geckos a follow. And don't forget to go check out George's new channel on YouTube. Elite Geckos, he's coming, man. He's coming for you. He's coming to a stripper pole near you. So watch out for him. Another big announcement. I know I said it at the beginning, but yesterday was our 7th day in a 7-day series, Week of the Life of G, right here on YouTube, where we did kind of a vlog style, lifestyle thing where we tried to answer the question, what exactly does a gecko breeder do all week? Well, we went one better. We said, what does a gecko breeder do? Well, at least this gecko breeder, not only do every day, but do for an entire week. So I filmed an entire week in the life of G, and it's in a playlist right now called Life of G. You can watch all 7 episodes. That's why we did a live today, because we spent a week filming, a week editing, 7 episodes on YouTube.
I've had it.
Yeah, handy dandy was done for. So we did a live today to be able to not edit, just to go live, chat, hang out with you. Tomorrow night, Luna Geckos on Instagram. We're live, 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Wait, so I have to work tomorrow, too?
Well, it's up to you. Special guest, Wally Kern.
I'll work for Wally.
Yeah, you'll work for Wally. Nicest guy in the community. Wally Kern's going to be on, and at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow, we're going to be talking about isopods. Probably a whole bunch of other stuff. Maybe some baseball cards, maybe some fish, maybe some geckos, but definitely isopods. So make sure you check that out. Luna Live on Instagram tomorrow night. So, as always, I appreciate you tuning in. If you like this video, please like it, share it with your friends, comment down below, and above all, hit that subscribe button and ring that notify bell so you don't miss content like this. Well, you know what you'll never miss? You know, Sunday. That's right. Every Sunday, right here on Luna Gecko's channel, new episode, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So until next time, I'm G. That's handy dandy. No, you got to go to your screen. Go to your screen. It's the rule. It's what we do. That's handy dandy. Miss Poppy Dog's on the floor. We're Luna Geckos. See ya.